Alright, hi everybody, it's Bonkai922. Here to bring you Fairy Tale. Chapter 301. Review. Now, everyone saw last week's chapter and was like, yeah, Lecter's dead, yeah! Everyone was going crazy over that shit. This one, and before I get into this summary, I want to bring up something that's been brought up by a few reviewers. I think Joe 10, King of Lightning brought it up, but I'm not sure if he did or not. And that's the possibility that Hiro Mashima, when he does a dialogue chapter, it's good. And when he doesn't do one that's dialogue full, but has more or less action in it and people fighting, it's not good. I mean, I don't want to say this, but does that mean, like, every time he does one where people are fighting and there's a conflict, oh, it's gonna suck? But I think that's being too presumptuous. Okay, like I said, chapter 301, Fairy Tale. This one was called The King of Dragons. We get a first page. This is this page, beginning page of Lucy. She's on all floors, and her ass is showing. Literally, her ass crack is showing. Ass and boobs. I'm like, come on. Hey. Every time you see a picture of Lucy and she's like that, I'm like, come on, Hero, please. But anyway, moving on. Basically, this was pretty much them in the cave. Wendy, Gajil, Gray, Natsu, Lucy, the cats. They're all in the cave. And Wendy's basically, she's just setting up for Milky Way. This technique. Now, Milky Way, basically, the logistics of it, as she's just standing there, she's drawing the circles, he's just standing down, please stand back, she's telling him to stand back. And she's saying, wandering souls of the dragons, I'm ready to receive your voices, Milky Way, and the stars, and, this show with the sparkles and everything, and then all of a sudden, Lucy's like, the bones! Wendy is saying, I'm looking for the souls of the dragons. The residual auras wandering in the place are extremely old and small. And that's when she found a dragon's soul, brings it out, it's concentrating, and then, boom! We got our first dragon besides Acnologia. Now, a funny thing about this chapter that got me, and I'm probably going to give, this one I'm going to give, last week was 5 out of 5, I'm going to give this a 4? A 4? A 4. I'm going to give this a 4. Let's not get crazy here. Now, this dragon, we've got like a fat kind of face, and, this is like the second dragon we've seen in Fairy Tale. Not ignoring the flashbacks and saying the second actual dragon you've seen in Fairy Tale in this show. And the first one was obviously Acnologia, and that's what this chapter was about. It really was about Acnologia. So the dragon comes out, he's like, oh, but he's like looking at them. He's like, it's the dragon says it's always funny to see people's shocked faces, and I'm like, this dragon's not even real, it's a ghost, but they're talking to it. So, and he says his name is Zirconis, known as the Dragon of Jade. So, Zirconis then begins to say, must be grenadines, this must have been you. And he's like saying, oh, cute, did this little dragon slayer summon me? Hey, stay away from Wendy! No, I'm going to eat this girl. Bastard! It's just stupid race. What a good... it was just like a funny skit between the dragon, Natsu, and then the dragon repeats himself, and Gray's like, "We already heard you say that." It was kind of funny, this whole back and forth. Um, and then he's basically going into details. It happened 400 years ago, and basically he said that a long time ago, 400 years ago, dragons used to roam the earth, they ruled the skies, there was prosperity and everything. And he says that he begins to go into details belonged to dragon. The world belonged to dragon. It was prosperity. And that humans were nothing but food. However, one foolish dragon wanted to coexist with humans. And he goes into detail saying how there was a war because of it, and, one against the other, because one side wanted not to be considered, and one wanted it to be considered coexist. And the dragon saying to Lucy, "Oh, I don't like humans. They don't love us." And then Dunn is like, "You're talking to food." And then the dragon then goes into detail, saying could the war continue for a long time? The fight between dragons ruined many places. They taught humans the magic to slay dragons and asked them to join the battle. These dragons who were siding with coexistence decided to do this. So that was the whole bit. And he goes into saying that's how Dragon Slayer magic was born. However, there was a miscalculation. He goes into details. Dragon Slayers who had become too powerful started to kill the dragons they were on their side too. Among them, the humans was one who bathed in dragon blood. And I'm scared to even say his name. That man murdered countless dragons and kept on bathing in their blood. Eventually, his skin became scales, his teeth became fangs, and he gradually started to be more like a dragon. And that person was... He goes into details. And he's saying, like, that is how Dragon Slayer magic evolved. All Dragon Slayers were murdered by that man. He became known as the King of Dragons. War brought the birth of the King of Dragons. Was called the Festival of the Dragon King. And that man was... The name of that king was... Acnologia. Acnologia. Yeah. This means... Anybody who's been reading fairy tale, who's seen that dragon, that means... Now, I don't want to say anything, but... This means that if Rogue and Sting did kill their dragons, and they decided to go out and find more dragons and kill them and continue, they would turn into dragons. And I'm guessing that's the same case going with Natsu and Gajil and Wendy. While being a dragon, he had undragon-like pitch black wings. So he was a dragon and he wasn't a dragon. It was like he used to be human. So, and then from there, and he says that most of those was killed by him 40 years ago. Because of you, I was, and then he disappeared, and his aura disappeared, and then he says vanished completely. And that's when, and he says, I think this is what people from the East called entering Nirvana. We see a picture of Lucy's ass. These pages. Oh, come on. Is that really necessary? Anyway, you pick up Dragon 2. I don't want to. They're like saying you don't want to. And that's when Arcardious shows up. Okay. He shows up. And he says that's impossible. I listened to the whole story. Indeed, the historical facts match what we researched. Do you know the demons in Dareth book? Acnologia is similar to them. According to the hypothesis, it was Zareth who transformed a man into Acnologia. In other words, destroying Zeref, the original cause of all this that is evil, would be the first step to defeat Acnologia. And we see Arcardious standing next to her. Him is Yukino. Sorry with that long pause. Yukino. And it's saying all these dots are protected. All the dots about to be connected by a line. The Dragon Slayers, Acnologia, Zeref, and the Eclipse Project. And then we see God just saying, who are you? Destroy Zeref. And then Lucy's like, Yukino. And then Charlotte says, the White Knight I had a vision of. And that's where the chapter ends. King of the Dragons. So, that means that if, well, you see, it's confusing now. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. But here's the thing that confuses me. And this is the topic. No hands, no hand. It doesn't matter what happens in next week's chapter. Next Thursday, this is the topic. No questions asked. This is going to be the topic for my live stream next week. This is the topic. With what has happened in this chapter, who is really correct here? The dragon that told him the story, or Arcardious? Because Arcardious is telling them, oh, it was Zeref who turned this man into a dragon. Now, it's very strange that it's going in this direction. However, the way things are, and Lucy's there, and she's like, Yukino, and she's like wondering what's going on. Now, for people who are wondering, is Yukino going to be like a Michelle? No. She's not going to become Michelle. That's not happening. In fact, Yukino, it's clear now. It's clear why she wanted to give Lucy those keys. She wants them here, the sacrifice. Now, we were given a lot of information in this chapter. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I don't think Arcardious is going to attempt to attack them and steal Lucy. I think that's premature. That's way premature. We're not even gone through day 5 yet. I mean, it's true that he could probably do that. But I seriously doubt he's going to do that. I think he's just going to talk to Natsu and Gray and everybody's there. That's everybody's there in that area right now. And we will see. Now, like I said, you got to wonder who's right here. The dragon or Arcardious. I mean, it would make sense that Zeref did do that, because you see the connection he has with Acnologia. That is all name I'm never going to say correctly. You see the connection, and it makes sense. So why is it that the dragon is telling him this? That dragon, why? Very strange. Very strange. But nevertheless, 4 out of 5. This should bring things to a very boiling point going forward. I mean, and somebody made a comment in my Lucy discussion live stream. He said that what must have happened was that Layla Heartfilia sacrificed herself and she died. And that is supposedly what's happening here with Lucy. Should be interesting. Should be interesting. But nevertheless, this is a good chapter of Fairy Tail. I can't wait to see what this is going to transpire. Now, like I said, humans turning into dragons? That is heavy shit right there. So you got to figure that what must have happened was he killed so many dragons that, he just turned into a dragon. Or it was, and he killed a lot of dragons, and Zeref decided to turn him into a dragon. Give or take. But, yeah, that's what I believe happened there. Now, we will see. I mean, question of the day, who do you believe is correct? Arcardious or the dragon? Who's right? And what do you guys think for next week? You think Yukino and Arcardious are going to try to steal Lucy? Or do you think they're just going to hear the talk and then you'll just be on the merry way? We will see. We will see. So in Bankai 922, this is definitely going in the right direction. I can only imagine what's going to happen now, because it's just going to get so hot and heavy with this. So, yeah. It's Bankai 922. I will see you guys later. People turning into dragons. Wow, hero. Wow. Please. Turn it with the showing of Lucy, her ass crack.